Hi, good morning, all of you. This is Shomo Majumdar yet again, and we are there in the YouTube class live. Welcome you all, and hope I can take a nice session today. This session was already dealt with by some of your teachers already, and I can find Suryarup is wishing me good morning, Suryarup, once again, and there's a live chat option available where you can ask me questions if you have any. Okay. Su- Suryarup, if you can text whether you are able to log in with the attendance system. Yes, Suryarup. Hello. Hello. Can you log in with the attendance system? All right. So, we are going to discuss about budgeting again, and let us start to see a little bit of that particular slide which we had discussed earlier. I had shown you earlier. Okay. So, this is a slide on budgeting. So let us try to understand that what is budgeting. So budgeting basically is a long-term profit plan which addresses all the revenue sources and expenses. All right. So we'll try to see that how it is done. We'll see our budget, and after that we'll try to explain you that how the budget is made. Okay. Now the next thing is that which we need to understand that who are the people who are involved. Number one is rooms division manager, and the accounting division, and the general manager and the controller. So what is done basically, the rooms division manager prepares the budget and then gets the necessary kind of statistics from the accounting division, and then they coordinate between themselves and prepare the budget. The budget is then sent to the general manager, and who now approves the plan. And if they find that there has to be some changes made, they will then recommend such changes and will tell the rooms division manager to make the budget again. So that is being done. This is what is called budget review. And then finally, with the help of the general manager, the controller of the hotel, we prepare the overall budget. So this is it. And how the budget is made, of course, the historical overview of past statistics. So we are going to see that how the budget is made. So if you try to see a budget, it has two parts. All right. So first of all, what was forecasted? So in case of a budget, there has to be a forecasting done. All right. So this is what was forecasted, which is written as the budget part. What has actually happened? We make a comparative analysis between what was forecasted and what has actually happened. And then the difference between the actual and budgeted is called a variance. All right. So this is something which you need to understand. And in this budget, there are it's basically 2-3 things which you have to understand. One is the revenue part of the budget. So we are checking that how much revenue that has been generated. We are taking care of the expenses part, and we are taking care of the variance part. So 3 very important part of a budget are the revenue part, the expenses part, and the variance part. Remember that. So let us go back to the budget slide, and it is said that what is it and how to make a budget. And we can see here that historical overview of past statistics is how the budget is made. So when we are talking about historical overview of past statistics, we try to see actually that what was projected and how to project it. This I will try to show you with the help of 3 examples, all right? And then we'll go back to the budget slide which you saw just now and we'll explain you a little bit. So let us see the first part of it. So as you can see here, in this case, the first part comes and the room's revenue summary for this particular hotel we are trying to check. And here we are seeing for a particular year 2000 something. So the total room revenue was in that particular year, that is something like 1 million, which is 10 lakhs. The next year it went up. There was no records at that time. So next year it has been seen that these are all historical overview of the past statistics what we are doing. Next year there was 1.1 million or 11 lakhs. So what is the difference between 11 lakh and 10 lakh? That is 1 lakh. All right. So this is the increase in the budget, and which is if I divide 1 lakh divided by 10 lakh, that is 10%. So what all there is a 10% increase in the budget. So in the next year, then again it was said that the budget means the room revenue was 1 lakh 12 lakh 10,000. So when it is 12 lakh 10,000, the difference between 12 lakh 10,000 and 11 lakhs is 1 lakh 10,000, which is again 10% of 11 lakhs. All right. So this is what we are talking about, the increase, which is 10% of that particular figure, 11 lakhs. So there is an increase in 10% again. And again in the next year, when I see that 2 lakh 14 or 2014 year, 13 lakh 31,000. Now this is, if I subtract 13 lakh 31,000 minus 12 lakh 10,000, I'll get 1 lakh 21,000. Now this is again 10% of 12 lakh 10,000. So this 1 lakh 21,000 increase is actually 10% of 12 lakh 10,000. So I can yet again find that there is a 10% increase in the budget. So if I have to do a historical analysis and I will project a revenue, I will say that for the next year, 20x5, there will be a 10% increase on 31,000. So 10% of 31,000 is 31,100. So if I add it up, I can figure out as a person will make a budget that it will be something like 14 lakh 64,100, 14 lakh 64,100, something like that should come. So that is how the budget projection is done. So for the few of you who probably could not see the figure, I'll just try to project it here in the board. So for the year 20x5, if I try to project, the last year was 13 lakh 31,000. So 10% of 13 lakh 31,000 would be 13 lakh 100. So if I add it up, that will be So 14,64,100. This, why? Because every year you have seen that there has been a 10% basic increase in the figure that I have been showing you. Okay, so every year 10%. So by doing that historical analysis, I will probably suggest that okay, next year also there will be a 10% increase, and in that way I will try to understand that that figure would be 14,64,100 in the next year. So this is what this is how the budget is projected. So let us come to another example. Here this is more near to the real world. Now here you can see that in 2000 X1 there were 30,660 rooms which were sold. All right. So now the average daily rate in that particular year was $650. All right. The net room revenue is basically room sold multiplied by ADR. That is 15,33,000. So when you multiply 30,660 in with $50, you'll get this value of amount. And here one thing that you can see is 70% was the room occupancy. Now let us try to understand this example through a brief example here. Now you can see that 70 by 100% is equal to 30,660. So 1 by 100 will be 30,660 divided by 70. So it will come to you as 438. So the hotel has 438,000 rooms in a year. All right. So if I divide it by 365, I'll be able to know number of rooms of the hotel. All right. So that would be something like 35 and 38, that is 73. So 120 rooms the hotel has. All right. So this is how we can calculate that 120 room hotel. This hotel is a 120 room hotel. So 120 room hotel, if you sell for 365 days in a year, you will get 400, 3,800, etc. rooms. Now here the occupancy percentage is showing as 70%. All right. So the rest of the rooms has not been sold. Now we are again historically reviewing the past statistics, and this is for the hotel, which is a little bit better example than which you had seen in the last time. Now you see that in the next year what happens? In the next year, we have increased our ADR by $2. All right, and we see that there is a increase in sales by something like 1,340. So there are more sales in the room. So how much is the room revenue total? Again, room sold multiplied by ADR equal to my total revenue generated. So that I see that there is a 73% increase. All right, there is a 73% and there is a 3% increase in this particular year. Okay, next year it has been shown that we have still increased to 32,412, which is a cool over 400 rooms above the last year. So our ADR also increased to 54 and my total revenue also has increased to 17,50,000 something. And you can see that overall my occupancy has been 74%. Okay, all right. So what happens in the next year? Again, I see that there has been over 400 increase in room sales for the entire year. And because it kept on increasing, I've been able to increase my ADR to $57. The net room revenue is 18,72,400, which is again an increase from the last year. And the occupancy percentage is 75. Now, in this case, it is slightly different. Why? Because we cannot see, like in the last example, which was a very straightforward example of historical analysis. We are saying that first year it was 70%, so next year there was a 3% increase, next year 1% increase, next year another 1% increase. Now the question is how we are going to then figure out when there is a difference in the increase. How we are going to figure out what should be my revenue for the next year. So continuing with that historical overview of past statistics, let us see this example and try to understand what is done here. Now you can see that in the first year that was 70%, all right? And through this example, you have seen that 438 is equal to 1%. This we need to do. All right. So number of rooms sold in year 1 was 30,660. Year 2 was 31,974. Year 3 was 32,412. Next year was 32,850. So the question is, in the next year, if I project, how do I project? How many rooms should be sold? Now, ADR was $50 in the first year, $52 in the second year, $54 in the third year, and $57 in the next year. So if I find out what is the difference plus 2, what is the difference plus 2, what is the difference plus 3, okay? So 57 minus 54 is plus 3, 54 minus 52 is plus 2, minus 50 is plus 2. So in the second year, we can see that there has been a $2 increase in ADR. In the third year, again $2 increase. In the fourth year, there has been a $3 increase than the past year. So here we can speculate in the next year. In the next year, there can be either a $2 increase or a $3 increase. Okay. While now let us check the occupancy. What has been the occupancy? In the first year, it was 70% occupancy. In the second year, it shows 73% occupancy. That is plus 3. In the next year, there has been a 74% occupancy. The last year there has been a 75% occupancy. All right. So here you have +3, here is +1, here is +1%. Now the question is, what should be my occupancy for the next year? How do I budget for the occupancy for the first year? Here normally I can see that it's already 70% occupancy. So the occupancy level is high, and at the same time next year we have gone for higher occupancy level. Next year 74%, it's even higher, 75%, even higher. So I need to speculate something which is achievable. All right. So achievable would be probably +1, the minimum occupancy percentage increase, that is, which is 76%. All right. So if it is 76%, so how many rooms would be sold? If I know 438, you can see 438 is 1%. So 76% would be 438 into 76. As simple as that. So that value would come out to be, if I try to use a calculator to calculate, so I will find 33,288 would be the value. All right. So you can find out, and it will be 33,288 rooms. Now here, if it is 33,288 rooms, and means in case of the ADR, I have to speculate how much would be for the next year. Because the last year, you can see that there was a 1% increase, and even then they considered a $3 increase in the rack rate. Your management will definitely push you for a $3 increase, so it will come to $60. So 60 into 333,288 would be the revenue, and which would be, I'll just now tell you. It would come as $1,997,280. So if I try to speculate for the year 20x5, I'll write it in this way. I'll be selling 33,288 rooms. I'll go for a $60 rate. I'll go for a 1,997,280 as my revenue, and I'll go for a 76% occupancy. This is how we are going to speculate. Now you are trying to understand, perhaps figure out what we are speculating. We are speculating this part, the budget part. So when we are discussing the budget part, I told you that we forecast. So I was trying to explain you the revenue forecasting for the next year, how it can be done. All right. So it can be done, as you have seen, through historical overview of past statistics. So what we are trying to do, was we were trying to figure out the historical overview of the past statistics, which you saw some time back, and how we are trying to speculate that, okay, fine, what would be my revenue at after this time. All right. So next year, if I have to budget, I'll budget in this particular way for the revenue part. And similarly, now we are going to understand how to budget for the expense part. As I told you that there are three parts. One is called the like forecasting for the revenue. The second is forecasting for the expense, and the third one is the variance between what has actually happened and what was forecasted. So now let us check the expense part of it, and this can be done with this particular example which you see here. All right. So now we can see that there are various heads of expenses. All right. So one is payroll and related expense. One is laundry, linen, and other guest supply expense. Another is commission and reservation expense, and finally other expense. Now, like last time, when you saw in a actual kind of situation how to project for the next year's revenue, now we are going to project for the next year's budget for the expense. All right. So now you see that in this particular year, payroll and related expenses 16.5%. In the next year, it is 16.9%. In the next year, it is 17.2%, and the next year it is 17.4%. Now, 16.5% of what? This is of the percent of the total revenue that was earned. Expense percentage comes as a percentage of the total revenue you have earned. Okay, so that is why it is coming as percentage. So in the first year, you can see 16.5%. This is the payroll and related expense. Laundry, etc. is 2.6%. Commission 2.3%, and other expenses 4.2%. Now, if I again go to the board with you and try to see what is happening here. So 20x1, we see that payroll expense 16.5%, laundry 2.6%, commission 2.3%, finally other expense, that is coming as 4.2%. Percentage of what? As I told you, percentage of revenue. Okay, percentage of revenue earned. So again, let us go to the next year. That is showing 16.9% payroll expense, 2.8%, 2.5%, 4.5%. So next year there has been an increase in expense as well, not only the revenue. Next year, payroll expense 17.2%, 3%, 2.6%, 4.5%. Next year, this is 2, 3, 4, 17.4%, 3.1%, 2.7%, and 4.6%. Now we are trying to speculate for the next year, 20x5, let us say. What is the difference between this? That is plus 0.4. What is the difference between this? Plus 0.2. What is the difference between this? Plus 0.2. Now, when we are going to figure out that, okay, what is the minimum expense which has increased, that is 0.2, all right? Because this is 0.4, this is 0.3, and this is 0.2. So here in 20x5, I'll be predicting 17.6% expense. In the laundry, again plus 0.2, plus 0.2, plus 0.1. So here I'll be expecting at least plus 0.1. 3.1 plus 0.1, it is 3.2. I'll expecting that. In the commission part, plus 0.2, plus 0.1, plus 0.1. Here again I'll be expecting 2.8 because that is my percentage. Other expense, plus 0.3, 0, plus 0.1. Now what is the minimum increase? 0 is not an increase. 0.1 is an increase. So I'll go for 4.7%. So this percentage is on what? On the total revenue for the year we had speculated. So if I add up 17.6 plus 3.2 plus 2.8 plus 4.7, I'll come up with I think 28.3% as my total expense. So 28.3 into 0.283. If my revenue was 1997280, as I found out sometime back with you, so my 0.283, if I multiply, I'll get 565 $230.24 for $5,65,230.24 to be my expenses budget under different heads in the next year. So this is how we speculated how would be the budget for the next year. All right. So again, you can see that the forecasted budget part is basically the overview of the past statistics. All right. The forecasted budget is basically the overview of our past statistics. So now let us try to analyze, let us try to go back to the main figure, and here it is again. So the budget has three parts, as I told you: the revenue part, the expense part, and the variance part. So revenue part, what you can see is here, I have actually earned 15 lakh, $1,56,240. My forecasted budget was 1,45,080. So what is the variance? Variance means what is actual minus budget. So here it is $11,160. That is what I am earning more. All right. Now here you can see something in the bracket. Now whenever it is in the bracket, it means minus. All right. So here it is 437. Now this is 300. Now why then it should be minus? It is because alliance we are giving away. Revenue, this one is coming in. All right. This is coming in to our company. So we are benefited by it. But when we are giving out more expenses, we are finding it as minus. Similarly, if you will see the expense part, the expense is it is going away from us. So actually it is 20,826, and budgeted was 18,121. So going out is more than our budgeted expense. So it is coming in minus. This 2005 is under bracket. Why? Because it is coming in minus. Now you see the next one. Employee benefits. We had budgeted more, but we are given lesser employee benefits. So we are gaining from that. So that is why this employee benefit is plus here, not a minus here. It's a plus here. So you need to understand what is coming in and what is going out. All right, to the company. So whenever it is coming into our company, it is a plus kind of thing. Whenever it is going out, it is minus. So that is why this kind of things has been mentioned here. Now 11,160 divided by 145,080 is 7.69%. You can calculate that. So this variance is always calculated on the budgeted expense, not on the actual expense. 11,160 divided by 145,080 is 7.69%. So this is something which you need to remember here. So what is the meaning of variance? Variance means any deviation. Deviation from what? Deviation from our original projection, original plan. So these are certain things you need to understand. So this is very important for us. So we are talking about the revenue part. We are talking about the expense part. Now you can see under expense. Some time back we were doing the third particular figure. So there were one was the payroll part. You remember? The next one was the laundry part, next one was the commission part, and next one was the other expense part. So basic 4 heads, we are trying to check the expense. There can be million others like that. So other expenses has been clearly mentioned here, which are the other expenses: commissions, contract cleaning, guest transportation, laundry, linen, operating supplies, reservation, uniforms, etc., etc. Expenses, payrolls and salaries, so salaries and wages, employee benefits, and all are calculated in that way. And then for each and everything, there was something which was projected and what has actually happened. So we find out the variance. We found it out in percentage, and after that, what we do? You can see the total expense is calculated. All right, and there is the total revenue which was calculated as the total net revenue. Sometime back, let's say. So total revenue minus expense is the departmental income. This is the actual departmental income. This is the variance from the previous departmental income. Now, this is what the variance is. It's a plus figure finally, and it is coming as 9.08%. So it is 10% more than what was budgeted, etc. And so it's a good budget, well done, we can say that, to the department. So this is what the entire budget looks like. So remember, in a budget there are 3 things. Okay, so one is what? The revenue part, another is the expense part, and the third one, which is called the variance part. Now what you saw, the variance percentage calculation and the variance actual amount, what you saw is called the variance analysis. All right, so this is how the budget is done. Very important term you have to remember, which is the variance analysis from here. All right, so let us go back to the initial slide and just take a little bit of note on it. So what is the budget? Budget is a long-term plan. What kind of plan? It's a profit plan. So which addresses all revenue sources and resources. Once again, just a little bit. And who are the people who are associated with it? The Revenue Division Manager with the help of accounts department who provides the statistical information, they prepare the budget. But it is approved by the controller and the general manager finally. So if they have not approved, they have to remake the budget. And how it is made? By historical overview of past statistics. That's what you saw in the budget. What was there? The actual was there and the budgeted was there. Budgeted part is the forecasted part. That's what we forecasted. How we forecasted? We saw through all these examples. Hope that is clear with you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me in this YouTube session. And I will be taking some questions from your like chat box. So if you have any questions, let me know. Good morning, Ankush. Good morning, Vishal. Good morning, Sampujita. Abhising, good morning. Suryadu. Technical issues. Good morning, Pranay and Akshita and Sanjana and there are some more. Joel, Priti, Biraj, Shivam, Damle. All right. So if you have some questions, you can ask me. I'll try to explain that. Okay. And Shivam Demle says, thank you for the great session. Okay. Most welcome. Most welcome. So Suryarup, were you finding some technical issues? I was not having any technical issues. I didn't realize if I had one. Could you understand me? Could you Shazeb, could you clearly hear me, and was there any technical issues? All right. Any questions? Do you have any questions so that I can clear? Okay, no problems. So Ankush, thank you so much. So you could hear me and see me properly. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, I'll take that. All right, great. Adrija has clearly informed that you can all hear me. Okay. All right, Suryarup now can hear me properly. Okay, thank you so much, all of you. That was fantastic. That you all understood. You all could see the board and you could see me and hear me properly. Okay, I take it no questions are there. Okay then. Thank you so much. This time I tried to learn a little bit about the angles. I was a little bit not very sure of the angles sometime back. So that's all right. Okay, take care. Bye. See you guys. Ending stream.